having a weird hair day. My neighbors are being loud. There's construction happening outside. It's really fun. Hello. So today we are going to be talking about lashes. A lot of you recently have been asking, number one, what my favorite lashes are. Number two, how to choose the right lashes for your eye or eye shape. So hopefully I can shed a little bit of light on this. If you feel like you're having a really hard time finding lashes that fit your eye shape, my first question for you would be, what kind of band do the lashes that you have been using have? Are they thick? Is it black? Is it very stiff? Because those are the lashes that I try to avoid, because no matter what, no matter your eye shape, they're very difficult to use. Like, they can be really difficult to apply. So my first tip would be to go for something that has a very flexible, clear band. My current absolute favorite lashes, and you've seen me use these in a couple of videos now, are House of Lashes collaboration with Patrick Ta, and they're called It's a Look. So these lashes have a clear band. They're flared at the ends. They're super flexible, very natural looking, not too long, but you can definitely like dress them up if you want to. I obviously have like decent sized eyes, right? House of Lashes, I don't pretty much ever have to trim them. They fit my eye shape perfectly. So if you happen to have like quite large eyes, like, I mean, my eyes aren't gigantic. I would say Katie, formerly known as Lustrelux, has bigger eyes than me, but they are, you know, like I always talk about how I have a decent amount of real estate up here. But House of Lashes, I never have to trim them. So you can probably see it's got a clear, I mean, I've got some glue on it now because I have been using them, but it's got a clear band. They're super duper flexible. Super flexible. You can rough them up, bend them around. You know, that is the mark right there of a nice, flexible, lightweight lash. These have become my absolute favorite lashes, and I feel like they go with absolutely everything. House of Lashes just have some of my absolute favorites. I would say that a lot of their like classic lash styles, I guess, like for instance, Iconic. The style is literally iconic. Like, it has a beautiful flare. They're not super duper curled. They're very glam. They're a little bit thicker. The band is a little bit thicker and a little bit more stiff. Then they came out with their Light series. So House of Lashes Light has a slightly more flexible band. I believe it's clear. They're sort of the same idea, but they're not quite as thick. Those are some of my absolute favorites. And as far as length, you know, like length of the actual eyelash line, the lash line, they're very similar to this. One of the lash styles that I would say I would avoid overall are these guys by Velour Lashes. A lot of like Velour Lashes, Flutter Lashes, they have beautiful styles, but they do have thicker bands. This is in the style Serenity. So right off the bat, you can see this lash is pretty dramatic, very long. They do flare on the ends, and they have a very thick black band. A little less flexible. I mean, you can manipulate it, but it's gonna be a lot less, stop doing that. It's just gonna be a lot less forgiving. This is also a little bit long for my eye, so if I hold it up to my eye, it's just like so long. So what I would suggest doing, actually the length of the actual like lashes, look really pretty. So always test it first. Never just like apply the lash the way it is. And if you are going to trim them, you do want to make sure that you are trimming the outer corner of the lash, not the inner corner. This lash style is like a little bit dramatic, and it's probably not something that I would go for on the regular, maybe for like super duper glam, maybe going to an event or something, but I would absolutely have to trim it. Now, one of the reasons that you trim the outer part is because it's typically longer. So you can see that these lashes flare outward at the ends. So if I trim the inner part, then it's just going to end up making the inner part of the lashes longer. So you want to make sure that this area is the shortest, of course. So trimming that off is actually going to shorten the length of the lashes as well, because this is going to be the longest end. So if you feel like these are a little bit too long for you anyway, or like the full lash is, but you have to trim it to fit your eye shape, it might work for you because it is going to in turn like make these a little bit shorter by trimming off that end, if that makes any sense. Now, if you have pretty large eyes and you pretty much always wear like a winged liner, you don't really have to worry about it because you're going to be going straight onto that black liner with like a thicker band. So typically if I'm wearing a winged liner, black winged liner, and it's covering like my whole eye line, then I will usually go for something that has a little bit thicker of a band because it ends up just looking super seamless. So don't feel like you can't wear it. All of these lashes that I'm talking about will look beautiful with a winged liner, but I would suggest if you are going to be, like if you fall in love with a style that happens to have a thick black band, you might want to consider wearing that when you're wearing like a winged liner. Another style is House of Lashes Noir Faux Mink. Oh, I guess that's the style. Noir Faux Mink. I think I have a noir style. So these are faux mink. They are like double lined. I don't know how well you guys can see that. They kind of like flare up. They've got like double layers at the ends. And they do have a thick black band. So that's one of the things that I love about House of Lashes. They have like a bunch of different styles. So you can find black bands if you prefer those. Like they do provide a little bit more of a base for the glue. So sometimes if you are using, for instance, one of my other favorite lashes, the Dell Faux Mink Demi Wispies, the band is very, very thin, which is nice because it's easy to manipulate. It's a lot more flexible, but it also doesn't hold quite as much glue. Obviously, there's less surface area there. So you want to make sure that you're really applying enough glue. I actually do have a video on how I apply false lashes, which I'll link down below because it's the biggest trick is like how much glue you apply and how long you let it set. Our Dell lashes are another brand that typically I don't have to trim, which is really nice. So here you can see they have a flexible clear band. And another nice thing about the Ardell Demi Wispy Faux Minks, first of all, they look super duper natural. Like they just flare out, they flare out and the actual lashes are tapered on the ends, so they have a very natural look. They're also a lot smaller and much shorter. So if you feel like a lot of the lashes out there, like the Iconics or Iconic Lights, like they're just a little bit too long for you, Ardell Demi Wispies are great for, first of all, they're a drugstore, so they're very affordable. They usually come in 2 packs. I personally think they look good with absolutely everything. They kind of like amp up the glam a little bit, but they're not too big. They're very, very obviously. Demi Wispies, hello, like they're OG. If you're like, yeah, but even Ardell Demi Wispies are way too long for me. Ardell and Kiss, they both carry like tiny lashes, like tiny little barely there lashes. Speaking of barely there, if you feel like smaller lashes just aren't glam enough for you, but all the other glam lashes that I've been showing you are just like way too big for your eyes, there are 2 by Velour that are really, really beautiful, and I actually love using them as well. They're just like enough, you know? And they are actually like trim free. That's like the point of them. No trim. You don't have to trim them. They're not too long. We have Barely There and Would I Lie. So Barely There and Would I Lie. And these are nice and short. They're basically like pre-trimmed. So you can just like pop them on the outer part of your eye. If your eye is a little bit too big, or if your eyes are smaller, they should fit pretty well. And they're not super long. They are a little bit more dense, so they're gonna look more glam. Now, again, I will link that video, like how I apply false lashes, down below, because it really goes into depth about like how to actually apply them. But if you feel like strip lashes are just like way too difficult for you, individuals are a lot easier than they seem. So I have a couple different kinds here. I have Ardell Soft Touch right here, which are a little bit more readily available. Obviously they're Ardell. You can get them at Ulta. They're like little clusters. So they have varying sizes. They have from short to long, and they're clusters of 3. So you can build them up and make them look like a more glam lash, but it's a lot easier to apply in kind of like sections so that you don't have to deal with that whole band, getting that whole band in the exact right place. Obviously regular like individual lashes, like very individual, those are great as well. It can be a little bit more time consuming, so the clusters are really nice. Another pack of clusters that I love are by a brand that is amazing. They're called Swede Lashes. This is a collaboration with Nikki Makeup, not Nikki Tutorials, but Nikki_makeup on Instagram. She's a professional makeup artist and her work is absolutely stunning, and I highly recommend that you check her out. But same deal, they have some like tiny little individuals, they're clusters. And these are actually a little bit less dense maybe than the Ardells. They look a little like slightly more fine. So overall, my advice to everyone would be, if you are a beginner, I would start, oh my God, I just almost knocked over my green smoothie. What was I saying? If you are a beginner, start off with something a little bit smaller, look for clear, flexible bands, and if you are like unsure of what glue to use, I have been loving this one from Duo. This is the brush-on adhesive with vitamins. So it comes in like a white and green package, I believe, but it has a brush. So you can use the brush to actually like brush it onto the band of the lash, or what you could do is concentrate a tiny amount on the end of the glue, brush, and then dot it on your eye line, your lash line. Wow. If you find that like applying the glue directly to the band and then applying the lash is really, really difficult for you, rather than like sweeping it all along your lash line, just apply like tiny dots. So a little one on the outer corner, inner corner, and then maybe like a few like that. Give it a couple seconds and then apply your lashes. And if you feel like you're having a really hard time applying your lashes like really close to your lash line, that should help. You just want to make sure that you're applying enough glue so that it's actually going to hold on. You might have to experiment a little bit, but it's a good way to start. All right, guys, that's it. I just shared with you some of my favorite lashes. So those are basically the styles that I go for. I can also just like link down below, obviously everything that I talked about, but other options as well if you want to check out like what some of my favorite lashes are. I do have a coupon code for Velour, which is down below. I want to say I have one for House of Lashes, but I don't think I do. But yeah, that's it. Please let me know what your favorite lashes are down below. And particularly if you feel like most lashes are way too big for you, but you found some that work really well with your eyes, let me know what those are. And hopefully it'll help other people in the comments. I'm gonna go now. Bye.